This is the Tom Anderson Show, broadcasting live from the KVNT studios, 7 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Governor Mike Dunleavy joins us, great state of Alaska, and as COVID-19 and the pandemic continues the surge across America and globally, we are seeing different responses from our 50 states governors and our very many mayors and chief medical officers. Alaska has its paradigm, its model that I think some people are trying to emulate and others are questioning. It just depends on where you stand regarding how to resolve, control, eliminate, prevent pandemic spread. Governor Mike Dunleavy, how are you today?
I'm good, Tom. How about you?
Hey, great. I am always eager to chat about next steps when it comes to this pandemic, and I know that's on the top of your agenda, and you're interviewing a lot on it. Recent news has been that if folks come into the airport and they're not from Alaska, they will have a problem if they test positive for COVID. And when I heard you were going to be on air, I was anxious to ask this first question, which is, have you ironed out what that process will be? Let's say it's a family member of one of us and they live out of state and they come in and find out that they have COVID. Let's say they're tested here with a fast test at the airport. Do you have a plan yet if they're going to be pushed away like, a foreign traveler with a bad passport, or would they be able to stay here and just have to wait a certain amount of time?
Yeah, good question, Tom. So we're going to have protocols finished up early next week on this issue. But the bottom line is this. We've been testing everybody, and our testing supplies are getting a little tight because of the surge worldwide and down in the lower 48. But also, we want to change and turn our attention to making sure that we're testing as many Alaskans as possible. For example, right now, we are the second highest testing state per capita in the country, just behind Rhode Island. We used to be seventh. We're moving that up because we want to make sure we get a handle on this. But what we're looking at doing is basically, if you're going to come to Alaska, we want you to come to Alaska. Just get a test in your home state 72 hours before you come up, and if it's negative, you're good to go. If it's positive, obviously you would want to know that and stay home and take care of the issue. And so really that's the change. Before that, it was come to get a test if you can. If you can't, come to the state and we'll test at the airport. We just want to save some of our supplies for Alaskans until we can get through this supply squeeze is what we're experiencing right now. But we'll have those protocols lined up next week so folks know what's going on.
The team at Capstone Clinic, you have put great faith in Commissioner Crum and Chief Medical Officer Zink, the whole team, in that Capstone has the contract at the Anchorage International Airport for the testing. Capstone has the contract in Bristol Bay, and now they have the new COVID Secure app. I think it's the first in the nation, maybe in the world. It's beyond just tracing. It comes into the actual communication to give your test results through an app, and also for employers if they so choose to sign up. And I know that your administration has talked to them about this. Are you pleased to see the entrepreneurs and the medical visionaries like Dr. Wade Erickson and CEO Dennis Spencer stepping up to help and partner with the state of Alaska and communities? It sure is endearing to me to see that, and I think you've encouraged that as the governor.
Yeah, no, they've done a great job, and we appreciate very much what they're doing. We've been fortunate that we have a number of private firms, for example, that are stepping up to help. I'll give you an interesting story along with Capstone. We've got Capstone out here in the valley, but we were having a problem securing swabs early on in the spring because of all of the cases nationwide, and that PPE, including testing materials such as swabs, were in short supply. So we called up here to Palmer, Trivarius, that's the outfit that makes cleaners for the aircraft carriers for the U.S. Navy, and we asked if they could help out, if they could change over, if they could help make swabs. But they jumped right to it. Long story short, they're producing thousands of swabs for us here in the state of Alaska. I mean, who would have thought that we could do that here in the state? But this pandemic has shown that Alaskans can really pull together. And I'm sincere when I say that. I know it sounds like it's a politician talking, but it really has demonstrated to me that we are battle hardened when it comes to disasters, earthquakes, fires, etc. And Alaskans do pull together, and we help each other. As you mentioned, Capstone is one, Various is another, but there's many other outfits that are really pulling together on this. And so we're going to beat this thing, Tom. And that's the thing I want people to know. We're going to beat this thing. It's not beating us right now. We're actually managing it. Yes, our cases have gone up. We expected that. There's a surge worldwide. When people say, can you do more, and are you doing a good job? We look at places like South Korea, which was touted as the model. Their cases are going up. We looked at Singapore, which early on was touted as a model. Their cases are so high, it's unbelievable. We look at parts of Europe. All the cases are going up because this is a highly infectious disease. And the one thing I would ask people is, if you can, try and stay at least 6 feet away or more from your fellow man. I know it puts a crimp on our lives. I know we don't want to do it, but we just want to make sure that we're not going to put more people in the hospital competing for hospital beds. And we really want to make sure that we keep our seniors and those that have health problems safe. And that's what we're looking at. They're looking at a vaccination going into November. It's really promising. And so we've got a few more months to hang on, but I think we're doing a pretty good job.
When you look at the state versus federal versus local, there's so many layers of the bureaucracy. What about the local ability and responsibility to make local decisions? Are you trying to partner with mayors and city councils and assemblies? How is that nexus forging out?
Yeah, I think we're doing a pretty good job there, working with local municipalities, their city councils, and their mayors. And really, in Alaska, that's what you have to do, because I know there's been calls by some to do blanket mandates across the state. We worked at doing blanket protocols early on when we thought this was going to be a near extinction event, where they were talking about 500,000 Alaskans infected, 100,000 in the hospital, 30,000 dead. But now we know more about this virus, and so it's really best to deal with this virus where there are hot spots, where there are outbreaks in local communities. And so we support local communities if they've got a hot spot, if you're in the red, to seriously take a look at protocols and advisories and restrictions if they need to. And, we've had a number of communities in the state of Alaska vote, for example, masks up, like in Juneau, they wear masks, or down, like in Ketchikan, because they don't have quite the cases that other places do. So we're going to continue to work with local governments. We're going to continue to watch this at the state level. If we have to make some tough decisions like we did early on, we'll do that. But right now, it doesn't call for it.
There's a national politicization going on, and you alluded to some of that. President Trump has given you great praise and has said a model to look at is Alaska. Do you find this national politicization affecting your decisions in Alaska, or are you hunkered down and just keeping it micro analytic to our state's next direction?
We're keeping focus on Alaska, and it's unfortunate. It really, really is unfortunate to politicize a pandemic, because you're really dealing with people's health. You're dealing with a lot of unknowns, and as you know, Tom, there's a lot of shifting sand when it comes to advisories and what we should do and what we shouldn't do. And 1 week we should do this, and the next week we should not do that. And for some of those that appear to be politicizing it, trying to score political points, it's really a shame on them. And we're doing, I think, a pretty good job here in Alaska avoiding a lot of the chaos that's happening down south. Again, this is a testament to Alaskans. But I would ask everyone, if you see somebody in the store and they're wearing a mask, they're fellow Alaskans. And from their perspective, they're trying to help. They may be going home to elderly parents that they don't want to infect. They may have a child that has a compromised immune system. There's a whole host of reasons. And I think, we just need to be decent to each other and work together. And if we do that, Alaska is going to continue to be a model for this country. I
have 3 other questions, and I know your time is very limited. His name is Governor Mike Dunleavy. We have a very short break. If he can stick with us, we'll get to those 3 questions when we come back. Folks, it's Friday. Governor Mike Dunleavy, he's a big deal. It's the Tom Anderson Show.
This is the Tom Anderson Show, broadcasting live from the KVNT studios, 7 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday.
We are back with Governor Mike Dunleavy, the great state of Alaska, here on the Tom Anderson Show. By the way, remember, we're on 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, TomAndersonShow.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel because you will see and listen to a video with Governor Dunleavy, this one that we're recording right now. Here are the three questions, Governor, and thank you for staying with us through the second segment here. It's going to be on schools, stimulus, and the election. So first on schools, we're seeing some school districts close, which I don't agree with, like in Anchorage, and then we're seeing others open with protocols therewith. I like that better, Matsu. What is your stance on that? Or, I'm going to give you an out, are you not weighing in on that and letting school districts decide?
So our commissioner, I'll answer Tom directly. Our commissioner of education has been working with the 53 school districts here for the past few months to try and come up with protocols and different plans to address whether there's a surge in the virus or whether there's not. We would like to see kids go back to school. We would like to see kids go back to school in school. What the science has shown, which is really a huge relief for everybody worldwide, is this virus really doesn't impact kids like it does older adults and those that have health conditions. And so the feel is that especially younger kids can go back. And so we're working with districts to make sure that we can get kids back in school, but we also have fallback plans, whether it's scheduling different cohorts per week and some online work. But in the end, we want our kids to get educated. We think they could go back. On August 4th, the commissioner is going to have a press conference and answer any and all questions related to this issue, but it's our plan to have them back in school.
Second question, stimulus. It's a little bit more difficult, and I know that fact, when you're the governor and you have a budget and economies compared to the federal government who can just, even if they don't have the money, dole out the money. And many of us are blessed with the PPP in businesses, small or big. And then, of course, everybody got the $1,200, the majority of Alaskans and Americans, I think adults. In your case, as the governor of the state of Alaska, are there opportunities for stimulus to help businesses and people here?
You mean coming out of the state treasury or federal CARES Act money?
State treasury.
There's always that opportunity. I've advocated for the PFD for longer than I can remember, and continue to do so. And now's the time where we could use more money in the economy. And so, we have an election coming up here very quickly, Tom. We're having internal discussions as to whether there's unfinished business that we'll have to attend to with the legislature. And so, we'll have conversations as to whether we're going to have a special session right after this election or not. But we certainly believe that Alaska, like the rest of the country, could use a shot of cash in order to make sure that our economy gets stabilized and our businesses fare well. So we'll have that discussion, and we'll get on your show and talk about that.
You opened the door. Last question for Governor Mike Dunleavy here in Alaska, and that question ties to politics and the election. August 18th, Kevin Meyer, your lieutenant governor, has done a great job in reminding people, and your innovation with that of a nonprofit, let's say a Rotary, Kiwanis, Moose, Elks, you name all the different fraternal organizations and civic groups out there that can come in and could make 2-3 something thousand to man a precinct on August 18th. In concert with that, you're sending out absentee ballots to everybody. It's a big deal. You want people to vote. You want people to be careful. I like that. But my question is, there are some very contentious races. I saw a photo of you with a client of ours, full disclosure. We're helping a ton of clients at Optima, and one is Jesse Sumner. And he's a great guy. He's got his company. He's well-liked. He had how many, 6, 7, 8 lawmakers help him last Friday, all of whom adore you, the Laddie Shaws and the Rasmussens and others. Are you endorsing everybody? Are you getting involved at all, or are you trying to keep your distance?
This is a primary, Tom, so I'm staying out of the primary. I did run into Jesse in the Valley. I live in the Valley, and I go to a number of our stores or establishments, and I ran into him down in the parking lot in Freebears. And he proceeded to ask me a couple of questions, and I asked him some questions. And he wants to reduce the budget. He wants to make sure we have a sustainable budget, and he wants to make sure that we have the economy rolling, as a lot of our legislators do. And so, right now, I'm hoping for a good outcome in the election for the people of Alaska. And all I do is I just keep urging the people of Alaska. You get an incredible opportunity in this country to vote for your representatives, your senators, and your governors. Take advantage of it. Make sure that you vote. And I'm hoping for a high turnout.
Dan and team at Three Bears, another one of our clients. I know they adore you, and I'm glad to hear that you shop at Three Bears. So, yeah, this is good stuff. It's going to be an exciting election, and I'm sure you're thanking your lucky stars you don't have to run every single cycle, and right now you don't. You're in the middle of your term, so we will see how it unfolds. Governor Mike Dunleavy, always a pleasure. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to hearing from you with a future update.
Thanks, Tom.
Absolutely, you betcha. That's Governor Mike Dunleavy here on the Tom Anderson Show.